Welcome back to the Teacher's AI Cafe. I'm Kane, a teacher and a parent who wants AI to give us back our time. I share practical classroom-tested AI strategies to cut down your workload, improve your feedback and reduce stress so you can get your evenings back and be more present with your friends and family. No jargon, just actionable steps. Grab your mug. Now let's get going. Welcome back to the Tech Update. Today is the 6th of April, Easter Monday for us of the Christian faith around the world. I'm sure of us others, even others without the faith, are probably enjoying their Easter eggs after yesterday, because that's become more of consumerism more than, I guess, the origin of Easter, and it's actually meaning for us. And I almost forgot to do the podcast today. I thought I'd get a bit carried away. I got a day off school, start of our school holidays, so I got a little bit sidetracked today. So it's a little bit late getting out, but I do apologise a bit about that. And the other thing I wanted to mention was I mentioned a few weeks ago that I was going to have it go ChatGPT in the car. I've been playing with it the last few days. Obviously, if you get the latest iPhone update and you've got CarPlay, I think it's 26.4, you can now put it as a widget or as an app inside the car. And I find it works pretty well, pretty good. I like having conversations when I'm driving a long distance by myself. I like to do a couple of 1 hour drives to go see my father and set up his internet for him over this long weekend. So you can actually get a lot of conversations and things done in an hour coming there and back. And what I really like it for is just that off-the-cuff brainstorming, organising ideas, having a sounding board for yourself. I do like to tell the chat to be really rough with me and not agree with everything I say, because at the same time, obviously, I want to come out with the best ideas. I need to refine them. So having ChatGPT saying that's fantastic isn't really what I want out of that. But suggest give it a go. But obviously, if you're driving, keep yourself safe, pay attention to the road. This is more of a conversation round on top of that. And if you're a bit of a frustrated driver, make sure you don't swear at the app. You might upset it a little bit. So what's been happening last week? With Easter coming for most of the Western world, it really hasn't really been an issue. So Microsoft released a feature called Critique and Counsel, where one generates AI response and the other checks it. So the idea is multiple models are producing answers that can be compiled side by side. On the first surface, this is actually pretty good. A bit of a technical detail, really, you're not really going to notice it that much, but it changes the nature of the tool for those using Copilot. Because I guess for one, the AI is no longer presenting a single answer, you're potentially getting more than one answer coming out of that. And it's a good way to stimulate a conversation between experts, which I guess if you think of the AI as experts with each other having the conversation. So that's what's happening behind the scenes there. Microsoft have always introduced a thing called Cowork. This is similar to the Claude. I've been playing with their Cowork version, and I'll do a podcast on that. I've been working on how to set them up, which is ideal. Then what sort of skills and things you can put in for teachers. But it's a work in progress at the moment. I've been using it to just make videos at this time, little promotional videos for one of my other side projects. And it seems to do it pretty well after a bit of toing and frying. Anyway, getting back to Cowork, this system allows the system to complete multiple step tasks, not just respond to a single prompt. And this is what we're finding with a lot of the AI. We're getting these agents or multi-step prompts or instructions actually going ahead. So it's doing lots of work at once. So in practice, that means things like planning, drafting, checking, refining can actually now all happen in the single workflow, just not the single one prompt at a time as we did previously. So as educators, that raises a question. If the AI has already checked its own work, what does the student do within that context? And I guess the risk of this is students may all treat these outputs as final. And we don't really want that. We want them to question everything that comes out of that. So once again, we need to talk about how we assess and how we work with AI in that educational context, even in a business context. I was listening to a report today about the number of lawyers that are using AI to produce things that have got errors, substandard, even spelling mistakes. And I don't know how you get spelling mistakes in AI, but maybe it's creating cases that it's guessing what the name of the spelling is. The interesting fact is lawyers actually get fined for that. So quite a few lawyers have had a few $1,000 fines for using AI in their preparation and court submissions. So that's quite an interesting one, especially when you look at Claude or Anthropic. Talked about they've released a skills thing around law that they think they'll do most of the job of law workers, but we're seeing these errors come through because people aren't checking it properly. Reminds me goes to that conversation about where we had that talk about the head of the Innovation Centre in WA. I was talking about lawyers will now be checking what AI is generating the work, but obviously that's not happening. Or maybe they're giving it to junior lawyers to actually do the final checks before they do the submission, or just trusting it. I don't know. Either way, if you've got a lawyer that's doing that, you might want to get yourself a different lawyer. Maybe it's not best practice. I guess you as a client need to find out. Like I said, there hasn't been a lot of change this week. What we once again see, AI is moving towards that collaborative, more autonomous, more embedded in our workflow type arrangements. Agents have become really important. I need to do a podcast on that. But if you've got a teacher out there who would like to come on and tell me how they're using agents, that would be fantastic. Because the idea of building these complex systems to do the work for us is really slowly moving towards, especially things like admin or their preparation and planning going into it. Till next Monday, if you're on holidays like most WA and Australian teachers are at the moment, enjoy your break. If you're overseas, I think a lot of talking to my in-laws in the US, they're talking about they've got spring break coming up, but I know all states are very different over there. So enjoy your break, rest and recuperation. As my old principal used to say, it's actually not a holiday. It's the ability to reset and rest. So anyway, till then, keep up the good work, and I'll have a new episode for you on Wednesday. And I haven't worked out what I'm going to do yet. I'm going to sit down and actually record it tomorrow. But I think it's, once again, some practical skills you can take away and use in the classroom. Till then, keep up the good work, keep experimenting, and look after yourself.